my good friend George Manosis with me this afternoon. I'm going to start things off with one of my originals. I'll never forget. Brother, do you remember when our lives and music began to mend? The past we were never sure about. Oh dear brother, you I can't be without. That was a day I'll never forget. Dear brother, just know I'll never forget. Father, do you recall when you gave it and got me that guitar? After all, and you never told me to turn it down. Sound. Oh, that was a day I'll never forget. Dear Father, I hope you'll never the day we went down and saw Stevie Ray Vaughan play. I saw a tear run down your face. It was just you and me and Stevie Ray in our own special place. Well, that was a day I'll never forget. And oh, I know you'll never God our Father, do you remember why? Oh, you were kind enough to give me a life. 'Cause I know I am the luckiest man alive. And I promise try. 'Cause this blessed life I'll never forget. Oh, this blessed life I could never regret. Yes, you are listening to WBMGR Radio. That was an original song of mine called Never Forget. And my buddy George Manosis is backing me up on that. Welcome, guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us this afternoon. We do this every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. We rerun it usually that night as well. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us today.
Nice original song there, Rob.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here today.
George Manosis. I have been listening to you for years and years, and definitely influenced by your longevity.
Well, thanks. I've been at it a while.
For a while, and doing it well. You know, holding the flag for the original music as well as having to do some of the covers. Now, when we started this show here, the song we listened to was "Crazy
About Each Other."
Crazy About Each Other. Now, I'd like to talk about that song. I really was digging it. I heard it. I've heard it before because you're on the rotation along with several other of our local artists on the WBMGR Internet Radio. There's all our music playing all the time. It never fails. Usually when I kick it on, you're playing.
Well, that's nice.
So,
that's good to know.
Tell me about that song.
Well, it's kind of a novelty piece, tell you the truth. It started out as an exercise of just letting my mind wander and figuring out different ways to say the same thing. I had been watching a TV show where somebody said, "Oh, he's crazy. He's out where the buses don't run." And I thought, well, that's an interesting way to say it. So that line actually somewhat appears in the first verse, and then I just expanded upon that. And songwriting, as you know, is like fishing. You try to tie the lines to the hook.
Yes, definitely.
And that's kind of what I did. It's like, well, you're crazy and I'm crazy, and I guess we're crazy about each other. And
exactly. I mean, that's one of the nice things that I notice about your songwriting and a lot of the people we've had on this show since we've started is that, the whole reason we started this show is to talk about original music and kind of let people get an insight as to what it is that goes through our minds when we write these songs.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just a couple too many beers and we're trying to be clever and we're not. And then sometimes it's stuff that's really well thought out,
Yep. And sometimes it just kind of strikes like lightning.
Yeah,
so
it really
you never
does.
know.
Just out of curiosity, how long did it take you to write that song?
That was one of the ones that didn't really take too long. It was about maybe a week or 10 days to kind of polish it up the way I wanted it. And I have to give thanks to Jennifer Lico, who did the supporting vocals on that the chorus.
Awesome.
I had done a few things on her CD. She's a Celtic singer, does Scots Gaelic and some other Irish stuff.
What is Scots? I've heard that name before. What is that?
Well, Gaelic is all things Irish as far as the Irish tongue. Scots Gaelic is a certain dialect that Jennifer just kind of specialized in.
Is it kind of like an Irish slang type thing?
No, it is its own regional dialect, you might say.
Okay. That
but
makes sense.
I had done Irish music, actually still do Irish music for a very, very long time. 20
all the Irish pubs in
20 years.
You got to throw a few in there,
Oh yeah, and I still do a gig every couple of weeks at O'Shea's Pub on Clematis Street.
Oh yeah, very cool.
So that's a good one. But Crazy About Each Other was a good little exercise in writing.
Yeah, it's really fun. I have several different. I've actually come up with a whole new way of writing lately. That's I could say not necessarily working for me, but it's at least getting me outside of my box. Where I've heard people like Billy Joel and John Mayer, where they'll say like, if you start to write a song, you have to stay there. You have to finish it. If you don't finish it, then you're not really a songwriter. And I go, well, I'm kind of a rambler, and a lot of times the initial thing that I think about is not necessarily the best. So I've been writing in pieces where I'll put little ideas in my phone, and then I'll come back to it later, but then I realize I got a stack of ideas that the inspiration for when I actually did it is not really there anymore. So I go back and listen and go, I don't really like that anymore. So
well, I mean, it's definitely worth it to strike while the iron's hot, and to try and get a complete thought down. And another little axiom that I've heard over the years is, good songs may be written, but great songs are rewritten.
Yes.
So the thing is, if you get your complete idea down, and try and have a certain, say, one complete half-ass song, you know, and then you can kind of go back to it at certain points, and as you play it or as you read it, you can kind of say, oh, well, geez, that line just is weak. So I'll do a couple of words different in that line, and it'll make it a better song. And if you do that a few times, you kind of have a much better song than you even thought you might have had.
And you know, you probably do this. I just did something similar to that with an older original song that I was doing with my band, and I kind of want to revisit the song and redo it with the band. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, you know, just because I wrote it doesn't necessarily mean it's good, or at least the lines. Like, I'm already going, you know what, that line could be better, this line could be better.
No, that's it.
And it's like, it's not necessarily on iTunes yet, so you can kind of do with it whatever you want, you know.
Yeah.
But you have a pretty nice catalog. I see you have a couple CDs you brought in, and how many CDs have you done?
Just two at the moment.
Two.
I've got kind of a high standard, if you want to say that, for songs, and stuff that I've written lately. I don't know, is kind of still on the drawing board.
But do you ever go back and listen to, like we had said earlier, like, you know, you have two CDs out, and then you go through your daily gigs that you do, which we'll get into, and then you think, well, how many of my originals am I actually doing? And I struggle with this a lot, because I have fun playing other people's music. Sometimes just to see what I'm going to do with it.
You can give it your own spin.
Or just because I feel like hearing that song today, so I'm going to play it. And I'll go through a gig and maybe do one or two originals. Then one gig I'll shove every one I can think of in there. Then there'll be a gig where I go through and won't do any.
Well, a lot of times it depends on the room.
Yeah.
And if it's a listening room, you kind of want to, you know, if it's a wordy song that has a meaning, you want to impart that upon your audience, upon, you know, people who will definitely get it for what it is.
Right.
Rather than your late night smoky bar crowd who, you know, necessarily don't want to hear the...
Well, to get back to my point, what I was thinking is that, you know, you have a bunch of songs that you don't necessarily play all the time.
Right.
Have you ever revisited them and even thought about retooling them completely?
And I have, with some of them, yeah.
I mean, just because it's recorded, and I'm sure a lot of your fans have the CD, you know, I have a couple that I'll change the whole tempo.
Oh, yeah, same here.
Vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might even change the key.
Nothing's written in stone.
Yeah.
I've changed the key. I'll probably do one maybe to close the show, or close, Come On Saturday, which started out in a different key, in a different tempo, and with some different words.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, Sting did an entire album like that called All This Time, where he put out a concert DVD. And I love Sting. His composition just amazes me.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
One of those guys where I like, you know, I get a pretty good chord vocabulary, and, you know, I've got some jazz training and all that, and I just go, man, how did you come up with that progression? Yeah. That's just brilliant. You know, and it creates tension and all this. He took some of his songs and just totally spun them on their ass. And you think it doesn't matter because the melody still stands, you still know it. But man, you could really get crazy with it.
And it, you know, it becomes its own entity. It becomes its own, almost a different song.
Yeah.
That had its roots in that one idea that you just jotted down, but as time goes on, it'll morph into hopefully a great song.
Well, cool. Well, listen, I definitely want to get into some more of your original stuff here. So,
thank you.
We are listening today at George Manosis, and he's going to play another one of his original songs here for us. Yeah. And which one are we going to get on here?
This is called "Who Cares About Apathy."
I like that. Where did that title come from?
Well, there was a T-shirt I saw once a long, long time ago that had like a college insignia on it. It was like a sports shirt. This was years and years and years, decades ago actually, and it said "Apathy House. Who cares?"
Right.
And then several years later, I was just thinking about it and said, "Well, how about I write a song from the apathist's point of view?" It's not necessarily, it won't endear me to people. You know, it's not a very, you know, it's not a hooray for me song.
No.
It's more like how someone who exhibits apathy lives their life.
Right on, man. Well, this is George Manosis, and this is, I'm sorry, you said
Who Cares About Apathy?
Who Cares About Apathy? All right. Take it away, George.
Thank you. Another public tragedy, another private war. A man who just went crazy because he couldn't take no more. It's in the morning papers and it's on the evening news, but I don't feel uneasy singing other people's blues. Who cares? Who cares about apathy? Who cares? It doesn't mean a thing to me. Protestants and the Catholics and the Sunnis and the Kurds and a turf war in the neighborhood or a shooting on the curb, and none of it affects me. I'm altogether numb. My ignorance protects me. My brain's at minimum, so who cares? It's just another refugee. Who cares? Who cares about apathy? Love mankind, now I'm acting like I'm blind, and that's what keeps me sitting here today. I used to feel the pain of a world so inhumane, but now I just smile and say, who cares? Who cares about apathy? Not me. On the wire, it's coming down the line. Some forest is on fire and the market's in decline, but I don't feel depression. It's another world away, and I don't think I'll care as long as I get mine today. Who cares? You can change the channels on TV. Who cares? You can mark that ballot absentee. Who cares? Who cares about apathy?
That is fantastic, y'all. You're listening to George Manosis, and we are back Porch Unplugged, live on WBMGR Internet Radio. Check us out on Facebook and also on www.WBMGR.com. I really dig that. You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here listening to you, and it's like when I was a kid and I started playing guitar, knowing like 3 chords, and you know, it was, you know, my parents were hippies, and there was always this guy just like you had been playing for a long time, and like you had that old soul kind of thing to you where you could just grab a guitar and tell stories or make fun of a situation like that song was. I mean, like, that's just a clever...
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
It's not really even a thinker. It's a thinker, but it's not. It's more like you're just kind of poking fun a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And that's the kind of stuff that made me want to start playing.
Oh, well, that's
cool.
cool.
You know, the most terrifying thing to me, because I was singing came much, much later to me. I'm still trying to figure out how to sing, but, you know, it's like, you know, for me, just doing a bunch of stuff on a guitar was my way to try to impress people. But nothing terrified me more than the singer-songwriter, you know, guitar, like James Taylor, Paul Simon, Billy Joel.
Great stuff.
They don't need a band. They just need a guitar and a microphone. and they could say something. They could create emotion with an audience.
Yeah, it's good to get that mood. Absolutely.
And I remember when I first saw you at the Tiki Bar where we first met.
Right.
It's like I would ask people. I asked about you, and I heard about you way before I met you.
Oh wow.
And the kind of things that people would say, they were like, "Oh, George, he's awesome. We could just have him here all the time." It's like, it's just. It's like Bud Light, It's just you can always have a Bud Light. It's all good.
Well, cool.
George, you're Bud Light, brother.
Okay, if you say so. Better than burnt toast, I guess.
I guess so. Well, at least you're not Milwaukee's best.
No, I've been doing this a while. Actually, I started playing guitar. I guess. The influence would have been my mom because she was a professional vocalist in bands. And in the 60s, her band right here in West Palm Beach called the Gold Coasters played different gigs around.
What kind of music did they do?
Standards, like standards from the 40s, 50s, 60s. They did a lot of hotel gigs and things like that. And the Gold Coasters would rehearse in our living room sometimes. So growing up, there was always music around. And then when I was, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, I actually took a little cigar box and put rubber bands around it and went doink, 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 because I heard the tones. I heard the different tones.
Yeah, okay.
So my mom picked up on that and bought me an electric guitar and a Fender amp for my 13th birthday.
Wow.
And said, we'll set it up in the corner of the living room and you just play, as much as you want, as loud as you want. And I did that for a long time.
Do you still have the amp?
I do.
What is it?
It's a Princeton Reverb, a 64
Reverb.
Princeton Reverb.
Just to know, like when you get things like that as a kid, you're like, to know later, like that's gonna be worth a buttload of money.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's that little amp is worth like $1,400 or something now,
absolutely.
But I'll always have it.
And sought after too.
Oh yeah. But then I didn't leave the house with music for like 10 years, probably almost. I played along to records. I tried to sing. I was like you. I was more of a player than a singer for a long time.
Let me ask you this, since we're heading down that direction, is when you were a kid, like who was your guy you used to emulate in the mirror? Like you'd like jump around and pretend you're a rock star and sing their songs and stuff like.
Well, that's an interesting question because the rock star per se, I didn't really emulate any of that. I was more of a folkie right from the start.
Right.
Because I had seen folk shows with my older sister. Saw Peter, Paul, and Mary at the West Palm Beach Auditorium.
Really?
And Mary Travers said, "Who is that young man?" And the crowd parted, and I went up to the edge of the stage and sat on the edge of the stage with Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Wow, and, that is really cool.
And I had to be like maybe 8, 9 at that point. It was before I started playing. But if I had to say, had to answer your question, I would say, believe it or not, Gordon Lightfoot.
I'm so glad you said this because sit down, we're going to be here a while. The first week we were doing this show, I just downloaded the app to my phone, which is what you should be doing, people. Download the WBMGR app to your phone. I downloaded the app to my phone and I'm listening for a good hour or two, right? And I heard your song come on and I didn't see the name. I had to go look because I thought I was listening to Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, cool.
Your voice, especially on your recordings, because I've seen you at Tiki for years, and now that I think about it, I guess it sort of leans up, but your recorded voice, which is probably when you had some tea and water and settled down or whatever, but because sometimes, recordings sound a little different than live.
Absolutely.
But your recorded voice, I swear to God, it was Gordon Lightfoot. And
thanks.
not necessarily an aficionado on him.
Right.
But my stepfather passed away a few years ago, and I was asked to learn this song, which I didn't do. I just played it on an iPod for his celebration of life, but the most haunting song, and you can probably think of what I'm going to say.
Wow. He's got quite a catalog, so I'm not really, yeah.
And I'm just curious, and we don't have enough time in the show to play it.
All 22 verses of it, yeah.
Do you know it?
I do, absolutely, yeah.
You can play that song?
Yeah.
Oh, you better know. I'm going to ask you. Next time I come to one of your gigs,
anytime.
I'll be like, because that song is amazing. And I would even ask, I have a favor to ask you after the show, actually, about that song.
Sure.
But it's just really neat because, again, you have such a wonderful classic style to you. For someone that's not that old. I mean, what are you?
No, mid to late 50s.
Oh, really? See, I was going to say 37.
See, music keeps one young.
Exactly, it does. I
Absolutely.
mean, you have a great, you have a great soul to you.
You can do a little piece of the song. Just
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Can you do?
Or so.
Yeah, do one verse, man. I
Well,
would
see,
love
it's
that.
tough to, but...
I hope my mom's listening.
Legend lives on from the Chippewa down the lake they call Kitchigami.
I love that name.
The lake, it is said, never gives up for dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early.
Oh, man. That gave me goosebumps.
Oh, thank you.
That totally gave me goosebumps,
Yeah.
man. That is so great.
At the live shows, people ask me a lot of times, actually, this is one of the more common questions. How do you remember all the words?
Yeah.
How do you remember lyrics to all these songs?
Well,
I've got
there's certain ones like that one.
300 songs in my head just about, and in any one night you're only going to do 50. So
Right.
there's a deep well to choose from. And the answer is really true. It's momentum. If I can remember the first line
Yep.
to a song, the rest will almost sing itself in a way.
It's funny. I just
The
did
way your
that.
brain works
Yeah.
in a different.
It's all in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I did that just right now in front of you guys today. When I was driving here today, I'm thinking, what song am I going to do? And I'm really in a family mode right now. I just spent Thanksgiving with my family. My wife and I have just over the last few months, I've just never felt closer to her in my life. And, we just talk a lot about family. And I just felt like, that song that we opened the show with, Never Forget, is it's 3 verses of snapshots of times in my life that just, there's certain days or events that definitely alter your emotional path or actual path in life.
Yeah, totally.
And or just things you just, like the song says, you just never forget, and that song's always been one. I don't do it that often. I kind of resurrected it, but I was sitting there playing it going, man, I haven't sang this in like a year or two. I hope I remember the end of it. And I was like, yeah, when you get there, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Yeah,
happened.
you were.
I got there and it worked,
I bet.
I think I only forgot one little word, but nobody will know. But this is so great. What was one of your concerts, like live shows? I like the Peter, Paul, and Mary. Was that one and any other one that kind of shaped you as a performer?
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull.
I was kind of Jekyll and Hyde because part of me was really intrigued by the folk scene of the 60s and 70s, and I actually started playing guitar in 71, but I listened to folk music, mostly guitar and mandolin stuff, and then in the mid 70s or so, there were some great concerts at the West Palm Beach Auditorium, and we were close by, so I saw Tull there 2 times. I saw Yes.
Really?
And then on the other side of the coin, I saw Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash.
Nice.
And people.
So there's live shows that, when you play now, like, when I do a gig, depending on the day, there's either something I just watch or just something that sticks in my head that, like, kind of shapes what I do as a performer,
Yep.
whether it's the way they interact with the audience or the way they flow songs together. Like what do you think about when you perform? I mean, you do it a lot, obviously. But
I do. Well, what do I think about? I think about the music. I think about what's going to please a certain room.
Right.
Because it's always good to play the room, to get
It is.
maximum enjoyment.
It is, but we'll get into that. I'm sorry, keep going.
Oh, no, that's all right.
I mean, it is true, but like, I wonder, do you have, whether it's every night or just certain nights where you kind of go, you know what, this is me as a performer, like, is there something that maybe has shaped that with you from shows you've seen before, live shows?
Wow, interesting question. Well, I'm not really sure about that. I know that there are certain nights where I'll be driving home after the gig and I'll just, thank God for letting me do what I do.
Yeah.
Because certain nights just are magical.
Oh, they are.
And it's like, this was just such a good night. And it goes on, the variety of material is kind of wide.
And what makes it magical a lot of times is, kind of where I'm going with this is the crowd. The crowd is half the show.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we know from the days of doing tiki and stuff like that, where we can play our hearts out and, two people who are into it. But it's those nights where, I think in my head, all right, I'm like almost like setting up that song list on my head, like 3 or 4 ahead of where I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you're reading the crowd and you're looking at eyeballs as you're playing this song. Like, is this direction working? Maybe I should switch directions.
A lot of times you have the bodies, but not the hearts and minds.
But then you have those nights, like you said, that are magical, where it's like you can't pick a wrong song.
True.
Is that what you mean when the nights are magical?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, something can make my night as simple as someone getting, quote unquote, something that I did for myself. Like, I put 2 songs together, both about spacemen.
Really?
I did Rocket Man and Space Oddity.
Wait, no, that one.
You do
Both
Space
of them,
Oddity?
yeah, as medley. I do them both like seamlessly. Finish Rocket Man right into Space Oddity, and on occasion, I'll do the intro chords to Space Oddity, even though it's like a seamless flow. Every once in a while, like a head will come up and look like, oh, that's something different, and then they'll know Space Oddity for what it is.
Right.
And then, even rarer, but on occasion, somebody will say, oh wow, it's only natural for those 2 songs to go together because they're both about spacemen.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. So, like, are you playing them in the same key? And is it?
I can do whatever you want now. It doesn't matter.
Are they in the same key? Or are they?
I put them in the same key. Actually, I raised Rocket Man so I could sing Space Oddity.
Right. And see, that kind of stuff is fun because I have a couple of tunes. I have a Christian song that I do called "I Can Only Imagine," mm-hmm. which is a really great. It's just one of my favorite ones to do. It's kind of like one I do for myself that people end up loving, and I'll do that and segue a little instrumental piece in between that and ending up with Sweet Melissa, the Allman Brothers.
Cool.
And that's kind of a little formula I've done for a little while. It's time to change it up now, but it's just neat because people are kind of like, where's he going with this? What's going on with it? And,
mm-hmm.
Sometimes it really, really goes over well. Sometimes people like one or the other song, but it's those times when you premeditate to a point where you're going to go with that set. And
mm-hmm.
then those nights where it's just like it flows so perfectly and everyone is just, the tip jar is flowing and the emotions are going and,
I like it when you can just kind of tap in and not think too much about it. One of my favorite words is extemporaneous.
Define.
Playing extemporaneously is just letting it flow without really giving it thought. It's kind of off the cuff, but it's extemporaneously.
So we have a question that was, I guess, typed in.
Oh dear. Okay.
Texted over. And
no, I'm married.
You're
happily married. Thank you very much. Hi, Maria.
You're around here and you know a lot of people.
I do.
But the question is, do you know who the hell Stephen Vincent is?
Well, I'm still learning. I am still learning. Stephen is such a great guy. I've known him quite a long time, actually, and enjoy listening to the two of you on the air.
I had to fire Steve because he didn't make my coffee right last week.
Oh, no.
So I had to let him go, you know.
You're not a prima donna.
I said pumpkin pie creamer, sir.
Yeah.
No, he's a little under the weather. He gave up cigarettes, so
Well, that's
rock
great.
on, Stevie, and he's just sticking to straight, crack right now, and crack and weed, no cigarettes,
Well, get well soon, Stephen.
Yeah. Get well soon. And who the hell is that guy, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
It never fails. I go to a gas station.
See a
There'll be
sticker?
some ripped
Yeah.
up sticker on a pump or something, And I'll be like, man, it's good marketing though.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing it a while, too. He's been in the trenches just like us. And
I saw one on a speed bump at Guitar Center one day, and I'm like, all right, now he's really getting out there.
speed bump. Hey.
Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do now. I'd like you to do another song.
Okay.
Just to appease our boss here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give her a little bit of the Odyssey?
Yes!
Oh,
Or
sure.
do you need a capo for that one?
Well, I do, just because I have such an odd voice. Yeah, anytime?
Please.
Major Tom, ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown engines on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the castle if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. Oh dear, am I sitting in my tin can all above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead, there's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating round my tin can above the moon? Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
George Manosis, y'all. This is Back Porch Unplugged. You're listening live on WBMGR Radio. And we're making George play all these covers today. But you know, you just...
I wrote that for David Bowie, you know.
I'm sure you did.
I'm still living off the royalties.
Yeah. You just, being from the era that you come from, it just, you play the covers that a lot of us don't do. And for me, I've never heard anybody play that solo, so that was a total treat for me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of go off the beaten path.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
A lot of Jethro Tull, a lot of different stuff.
Hey man, it's badass. So enough of the covers.
Okay.
Now let's listen to one of your songs.
Okay.
What do we got up next?
That's a great question. This is a song called Hurricane. And the inspiration for this actually was Hurricane Cleo in 1964. I was living actually at 622 Okeechobee Road, where the convention center is now on Okeechobee. Nothing was there really. It was a very, very small town, West Palm Beach. And Cleo came through in '64. I was 6 years old. And we had to go to the National Guard Armory, which is now the Armory Arts Center, and went back to the house, and we couldn't get in the back door because there was a sports car up on its side blocking our back door.
Wow.
And we went into the front, and we couldn't get in the front door because of the Sunoco sign that was blocking the front door from down the street. So anyway, I put that little memory away for decades.
Right.
And I thought, I should really write a song about hurricanes. And after Andrew, I started putting something together. So the 4 verses of this song, the first verse is history.
Right.
The second verse is my early history.
Right on.
Third verse is my more recent history. Fourth verse is the future.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
what a great idea too. It gives, that really adds to the substance, and it also makes me want to hear it more now.
Okay,
So it's like,
cool.
all right, cool. I'm going to get a story.
Hurricane. It was 1928, and then again in 35. How a storm can devastate, but South Florida survived. Back then it had a number, not a name. Most folks just called it a hurricane. Hurricane. And it came darkening the skies back in 1964. I could not believe my eyes as it knocked upon our door. When Cleo hit, I sat by the window pane, wide-eyed through my first hurricane. Hurricane. They rolled in year by year. We ride them out till again the skies are clear. Why do we stay through all this wind and rain? That's the Florida way. It's only a hurricane. Hurricane. In a modern sunshine state, just a few short years ago, once again the hand of fate dealt a crushing blow. When Andrew cut a path through our terrain, we no longer laughed at the hurricane. Hurricane. soon. When the big one comes, how much will remain in the path of a killer hurricane? Hurricane. They roll in year by year, and we ride them out till again the skies are clear. Why do we stay through all this wind and rain? That's just our way. It's only a hurricane. Oh, why do we stay through all this wind and rain? That's the Florida way. It's only a hurricane. 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 They roll in year by random year.
I really like that. It's such a nice story to listen to.
Thank
You're listening to George Manosis on Back Porch Unplugged. Again, we do this show every week at 11:30 here at the luxurious WBMGR studios.
Plush.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we got a full bar here and catering, and I mean, it's really good. And there's so many, and the groupies. George, you got a lot of groupies today, bro. I hope you hear them in the back.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we won't tell the wife.
Back, I say.
So I have a couple of goofy questions I'd like to ask.
Oh, goody.
I'm gonna hit you with this one at least today.
Okay.
So, it's my little topic called rock on or retire.
Okay.
And I know you've heard this
Yes,
a couple
I
of
have.
times, and I'm sure you were thinking of it. So, take it away. Who do you think should retire?
Wow.
Who's just milking it?
That's, frankly, I think anybody who has the music in them should keep doing it as long as they can. If they decide to retire, that's kind of on them. But I think, when music hits you, when music bites you, you live with the sting.
Well, I was thinking about the questions I was going to ask you today, and this popped in my head, and it was actually one that my wife and I were thinking of, and then it was kind of neat to add a little something different for the listeners, and I thought about this question this morning, and I'm a Palladia junkie, so I'm watching Palladia today, and one of my heroes is Elton John as well. I used to watch his concerts when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I got to put him in the retire category simply because the man's a phenomenal musician, but it just sounds like it's painful for him to do his shows vocally. It's just like he's yelling, because I know he's had some vocal issues or surgeries or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like, maybe he needs the money, or maybe just people just don't want to let him go. But it's definitely, I even saw him live, and he puts on a phenomenal show.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong, he's not bad. It just, it just seems like it's like, oh, I feel bad for him when I see him. Like, man, I know you wish you could still do it.
Right.
He can still play. He plays freaking amazing.
And I mean, there are actually, quite a few who are excellent songwriters. Chris Christopherson, for one. I'm not going to say he shouldn't be on stage, but I don't know. It's up to him.
Yeah. Okay, so now who would you say has been around for a long time and you feel should still just, your favorite old
Aerosmith.
Really?
Steven Tyler. His voice, while a little raspier than ever, is still dead on.
Still good.
Yeah.
I heard him on Howard Stern this last week.
Mm-hmm.
He was on there, and it's to hear him talk, you think, my lord, that dude could probably never sing again. But then all of a sudden,
he hits it.
He'll sing something off the cuff right there in the middle of the interview, and it's like he hits a light switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, back in the saddle. It's like, dude, that was crazy, dude. Where'd that come from?
And of course, you hear a song like "Dream On."
Yeah.
And his voice is just smooth as silk on that, of course, because time didn't ravage it yet. But
the original Dream On, I'm like, did Aerosmith have a different singer?
Yeah, no, that was Steven Tyler.
Him, but that was young Steve Tyler. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think Aerosmith is just one of those bands, and they beat my band Van Halen. They need to retire, or Eddie just needs to do a solo album or something. Who knows? But we only have a little bit more time left, and I really want to hear some more of your music. So, if you don't mind,
Sure.
That's what we're here for.
Well, the inspiration for this song is called "Come On Saturday," and
yes, we talked about this one. I'm looking forward to hearing this one.
Used to be stuck in a dead-end day job years and years ago. I quit my day job in 1993.
Nice.
And did music full time after that. And but
isn't that a great feeling to be able to tell people like, yeah, I've been retired for 20 years or whatever? I mean,
Oh, absolutely. But the only thing that would get me through my work week sometimes is saying, "Come on Saturday, come on Saturday, come on Saturday."
Well, sure, everyone listening at work on their computer is probably going to relate to this song because it's only Tuesday.
Here's "Come On."
So this is
Saturday.
George Manosis. Y'all are listening to an original song of his called "Come On Saturday."
I get up early every day. I go to work and earn my pay, but sometimes I have to ask what for. The daily grind is always rough, but it never seems to be enough. No matter what I do, the boss wants more. Punch a clock, tick and talk through the day. When the weekend comes, I know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Come on Saturday. Come on Saturday. Well, there must be some escape for me. I dream I'll hit the lottery, but I don't think I'd better hold my breath. So as it is, I'll do my job all day till my muscles throb, and I hope that I don't work myself to death. Punch a clock, tick and talk through the day. When the weekend comes, I know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Come on Saturday. Sulfur, you're the spark. Maybe someday we'll see a show. Hit the beach, or I don't know. But where does the weekend go? Where does the weekend go? But tomorrow is another day. I'll do the very best that I know how. I'll do all that they ask of me, efficiently, quietly, because I need to make a buck right now. Punch a clock, tick and talk through the day. When the weekend comes, okay, it's gonna be okay. Come on Saturday. Come on Saturday. Punch a clock, tick and talk through the
You're listening to George Manosis. This is Back Porch Unplugged, WBMGR Live Internet Radio. Well, this is an awesome pleasure for me today. I really enjoyed having you come and do this today, and it makes me miss coming to see you. I mean, we play so many nights a week, we never get to go see each other, man.
That's the bane of a working musician, is you never get to see your friends play because you're always playing too. But.
And there's definitely a few like you and Dave Goodman.
Oh yeah.
And when him and Lombardi play together, I saw it. We talked about it last week. I saw a clip of them from the Rudy stock, and I'm just like, man, I would love to just go get a beer. My wife and I did that one time in Tiki. We went, and I went to get my check on a Tuesday when they come out, and we just sat there for like a good hour, 2 hours, and listened to those two, and I'm like, that's some playing. And,
oh yeah.
She would never even be exposed to that if we didn't happen to go that day, and it's like, I could just sit here all day and listen to this stuff, and your music as well. It's like it's just nice for me. You get surrounded with a certain type of. I do a lot of blues and
right.
Different kinds of stuff, and I listen to what you're doing. I'm like, oh, dude, I could just get into that all day long, man. It's so great.
Thanks, and thanks to the station, and appreciate you having me today.
And then let's do
shows.
Yeah, what shows you got coming up this week?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see.
George Manosis tour.
Season is finally kicking in. I've been doing the Thirsty Turtle in Juneau, Rudy's, of course, in downtown Lake Worth, and Leftovers Cafe in Jupiter.
In Jupiter, how is that place? A buddy of mine had mentioned that to me.
That's a cool place to play. A lot of listening ears in there. And then of course I do some hotel gigs. I do Hiltons and Marriotts. Pretty regularly.
Gotta pay the bills, baby.
Absolutely, FP&L loves it.
Whenever the checks arrive, they show up whenever they decide to show up.
Yeah, they are they do drag their feet.
Right.
The hotels.
Well, cool. I have a couple of extra cool ones this week. I'm doing the Square Grouper on Friday and Havana Hideout on Friday as well. So
nice.
That's one of my favorite doubles to do because they're places I want to play once a month, and the Square Grouper is a lot of fun, especially doing it as a solo thing. We do it early, like 3 to 6. And
that's nice. Well, it's always good to do shows 1 or 2 months, 1 or 2 nights a month in a place, and just play a bunch of places because the weekly gigs. They're good too, and they are bill payers. But you never want to get stale. You never want the house to get tired of it. You never want the audience to get tired of it. So it's good to kind of build your show in one place and say, "Oh, I'm going to be here this one time this month."
Exactly, it adds a little more excitement to it.
It does.
People look forward to it. So
more of a crowd.
So do we have time to do another song? Or are we gonna? Yeah, we're gonna go out with a little cover song, and it's kind of reminds me of some of the era music that you do. It's an old song by J.J. Cale. I just lost him a little while ago, so kind of feels like a Back Porch song. So thank you very much for listening to us this week. This is Back Porch Unplugged. My name is Rob Arenth, and I'm your host. We had the amazing George Manosis in with us today, and Maddie Lou behind the controls.
Thank you.
Writing me notes, and hopefully by next week we will find out who the hell Steve Vincent really is.
Get well soon, Steve, and we'll see you around town. They call me the breeze. I keep blowing down the road. Yeah, they call me the breeze. I keep blowing down the road. I ain't got any body. I don't carry no heavy load. moving on. I got that green light, baby. I got to keep moving on. Don't mind me no more. I can't stand Georgia alone. Well, they call me a prince. I keep rolling down the road. Yes, they call me a prince. I keep rolling down the road. I ain't got nobody. I don't care no more.
That's some back porch jamming, baby. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Debbie Ryan, and you're listening to WBMGR Internet Radio, sponsored by Rudy's Pub at 9 North J Street in Lake Worth, Florida. Rudy's is the coolest and friendliest place in town with beer, wine, live music, and happy creative people. No grouchy people allowed.